Hello and welcome to the Gait Posture Lab here at the Rehab Hub in Glasgow. I'm Sarah Jane. I am an MSK podiatrist and Pilates teacher. So right now I'm standing in our lab, basically in here just behind me. These cameras here are Vicon cameras. They are infrared cameras, so it allows us to analyse you in a 3D environment. We're affiliated and linked up with the company Run 3D, who are an Oxford University spin-out company. So what happens in here is that our clients, our patients come in here for an assessment. Usually people are coming in here because they've got some sort of injury, wherever that is in their body, and they want to work out what's going on, where are those imbalances and how do I actually deal with this, rather than just treating a symptom. We actually nail the cause of their pain. So what happens is we put markers all over your body. We then put you into this 3D environment. So you can't just see out a camera shot. There's a huge big screen here. The patient's on a treadmill, which is over here. They face a big screen. They've got their whole body all markered up, and we actually analyze their movement. It's kind of like a movement MRI. There's just no guesswork at all in this. It's completely objective data that gets sent out. It's research gold standard, so meaning it's the highest standard of assessment out there, full stop. There's nothing else like it. So in terms of research, it is giving the most accurate representation of exactly what your tissues are doing. So as well as in here, we have the whole gait lab, but we also posture assessment. So many of our patients are coming in with neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, various different issues. So we use this space in here also for not just looking at how you're moving, but also those postural positions as well. And you get a full report of all of that as well. Now, as part of this, we also do musculoskeletal. You maybe see in the wall here, there's some funky things up in the wall. So we have various different things where we test your muscle strength. We actually measure with goniometer what your flexibility is. We actually measure our sort of joint angles. We actually measure it. So we have little tools like, if I pull this out, like this here, where we actually get your peak force. So we actually measure how strong your muscles are, so we can see, because sometimes people will come in, and actually yesterday I had a particular patient who came in who'd had hip surgery, and the hip surgery, let's say the hip surgery was on the left side. So you would assume, we would all assume that the weakness would be on the surgery side. You know, that's a fair enough assumption, but actually when we tested it, physically got those results in black and white, not just guesswork, the right side was where the problem was sitting. Now, we would have never have fully have got that objective data. You can't, there's just no hiding. It's literally like shite, like a big MRI, and exactly what's going on. So we could particularly say exactly where the issues were, and it was the opposite of what would the assumption would have been. Now, just think about that for a moment. Just think, if you've had an injury or you've got stuff going on, maybe you're a runner, maybe you've got some niggles, right? And you're maybe seeing physical therapy, sports therapy, whatever it is, and you're maybe not getting anywhere. And sometimes that can just be because we're not doing the right stuff. We don't have the right information. And sometimes we have physios, osteopaths, chiropractors who refer their patients in here to get their analysis, and we refer them back to them with the report so that their healthcare professional can then know exactly, here is where I need to be focusing on, here is where your weak points are, and here is the program, here is the therapies that we're going to do with you that actually is what you need. And it is beautiful for not wasting anybody's time, getting to the root cause of the problem and getting a plan then in place. It's amazing for, I mean, who would use this? Amazing for if you have any niggles, like even just knee, hip, back, weight bearing issues primarily. So your upper body stuff, postural assessment is great. So yeah, it can still be there because there might be some linkage coming from your lower back elsewhere. We will get to the root cause of what the problem is. But in terms of if you have niggles, right, just stuff going on, maybe you're just, my knee's giving up a wee bit, or my foot, or just something just not feeling right, it's for you. Postural problems, neck pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, kyphotic posture, tightness, pins and needles down arms, sciatic type pain. You know, we need to know why, right? You might have some disc degeneration. You might have had an MRI. You might have had scans and things that have shown maybe some protrusion of discs, maybe some nerve irritation, whatever it is. But okay, that's great. But then what do we do about that? And also, why has your tissue resulted that it's getting to that point? What is it you're doing in your movement in your daily life that's contributing to that? What has got you there? So unless you were in some big massive accident, something's happened to you, then it's what you're doing or something inside your body that your body's doing to itself. So is there some sort of immune system involvement? Is there something else going on in your body that is causing this problem? Or is it how you're moving? Okay, is it what you're doing? And for most of us, that for many clients, it can be a combination of both. Maybe there is something underlying going on, this low-level inflammation. Maybe there's some further tests that we need to do, and this is where we pick this sort of stuff up, where they're like, actually, no, this is not just mechanical. There's maybe something else going on inside your body. Maybe there's something going on with your immune system that's causing this response. And we can then best help you get those referrals into where you need to go with that report, whether it's back to your GP, who can then refer you on to rheumatology or wherever you need to go. Okay, so from that perspective, it just gets you those answers. But even though many of our patients come in with their MRI findings, and most people will come in with something that will just say that you pretty much knew anyway. There's some wear and tear. There's some degeneration of the discs. But it doesn't give you that, okay, well, what do I now then do about that? And how do I, because of this, how am I then influencing and counteracting and compensating for this problem? And then what then happens is you then end up with issues elsewhere because you're doing something funky, trying to avoid a pain because you're frightened to move, because you're like, oh, it's going to be really sore again. And then you don't move that particular way, and then you end up with all other problems. So nip that in the bud. Okay, that is basically what we use this for. It's the Gait Posture Lab. It's about getting you answers, and whether or not that is something we refer that back to, you can take that to your healthcare professional. So if you're a physio, whoever, somebody watching this, you can absolutely send people in, and we will happily give you that report back and let you then come from a very informed position of exactly what those findings are, and then you can build your program based on that report. Think about it, we're like referring somebody in for an MRI. This is basically like a movement MRI where you've got all that information there, and then you can then design your program around that. Or if you're a patient and you're not working with any other healthcare professional, you want to come in, then book the Gait and Posture, check the link with that. The Gait and Posture assessment will be, a good hour and a half, and then we then advise you from there what you're needing. And whether that's with us or not, there's no obligation to work with us beyond that. If you just want your assessment, you want that information, maybe you're working with a personal trainer and you want us to give them specific details of what you need to be working on and strengthening. Absolutely, totally what we can do, and we do that. So don't think you have to, you're then coming in and then you're going to end up with lots of therapies from us. You don't have to. We of course have that available, but you don't have to. So I want to make that really clear. So don't live in this place where you just don't know what's going on in your body, right? If you're like frustrated with niggles and pain, deal with it. Your health really is your wealth. It is. Don't just ignore it, stick your head in the sand. It isn't just going to go away miraculously. You've got to deal with it. You've got to get to the bottom of it and get moving and strengthen what needs strengthened and lengthen what needs lengthened, and actually work out what you're doing in your life that's causing you to get to where you are just now. We have to make those changes. Otherwise, we're just on the hamster wheel. We're not going to go in it. It's just going to get worse. You're just going to end up down the line more frustrated and in a place where you don't want to be. So if you need help with your gait and your posture, then check out the details with this video, and maybe we'll see you in this 3D environment really, really soon.